Hi, I'm Daina Augaitis, the Interim Director at the Vancouver Art Gallery. An exhibition that I was deeply involved with that was supposed to open in April is Modern in the Making, Post-War Craft and Design in British Columbia. So this is a fairly encyclopedic exhibition that looks at all of that robust activity in fashion, textiles, from 1945 to the early 1970s. One of the reasons this exhibition is timely is not only that we're all at home looking at the objects around us and how we function with them, but also because in recent years there's been an interest in materiality, in making your own thing, in crafting, in sewing your own clothes, and you'll be inspired by all of those craftspeople and designers who were determined to come up with new forms and new shapes and new innovations in their field. Modernism is usually, at least in North America, the story of the empire and how the empire developed and how European ideas came through this continent. But what we wanted to do in this exhibition was to really feature the indigenous makers and to recognize that there were already people living here who had extraordinarily well-developed and technically sophisticated methodologies for making crafts. So to have the presence of indigenous artists with this beautiful New Chalneth weaving that is so unusual. It's not a typical basket, but it's woven around a glass float that would have been used for fishing nets. And on top of it is a abalone shell that's been woven into it. So it's a completely unusual object that incorporates the things of the everyday that are around the makers that the New Chalneth people would have used. Another element of this exhibition is around textiles and also around fashion. One artist that I've been interested in for years is Evelyn Roth and her video armor. She was very interested in recycling, and she crocheted an entire ensemble, and she crocheted these out of videotape that she got from the CBC. Actually, this was videotape that the CBC would have been throwing out in the late 60s, early 70s. She got her hands on as much of it as she could and took her crocheting skills to not only create this whole ensemble, but she also made a cozy for her car. Like, who's ever heard of that? And she drove the car across the country, stopped in various cities, stepped out, fully decked out in this wonderful ensemble. One of the areas of strength and depth in this exhibition is the furniture. There's Earl Morrison and Robin Bush and their collaborative designs of chairs. We have the lounge chair illustrated here, and one of the remarkable things is that the furniture preceding this time, during the Second World War and before it, was heavy, it was wooden, it was cumbersome. But in the post-war period, that period of great optimism, there was a shift, and designers, artists, architects wanted to develop a style that was much lighter, that was more minimal, that was streamlined, that reflected that optimism in the world after the war. So you can see in this chair, there's nothing extraneous there. It's very simple. One of the things that I miss about not being at the museum is being able to walk through the galleries and be in relationship to art objects. But I'm actually blessed to live in a home that does have some artworks, and I'm very mindful of the objects around me right now.